Okay, what's up guys? It's Andrew Reverb with the Andrew Reverb YouTube channel. So if you guys have seen in the previous video, I had talked about starting an arbitrage business on eBay. Well, in the 90 days, we got the final results. So I'm gonna put the number here, right here. Yeah, it's about $408. What was it, 95 cents, something like that? 97, I don't know. But yeah, so that's after 90 days. That's the total funds I made on eBay. That's from selling the items I had. As you see, I got about, I think it says 10 active orders still listed, and then 7 items I sold. I did have a few that I had to unlist and then relist because they just weren't selling fast, but I removed those just because it's such a small store and it's just relisting items, no big deal. Here's something I want to clear. So with the shipping and the fees and all that, it didn't really cut too much into my profits. They were relatively low because I was selling light items, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. I definitely want to learn more about eBay and how they work, but I kind of want to get a taste for everything and understand. So after fees, expenses, and products, the final net profit, I guess you can call it, I still have to learn this stuff, is about $149.44. I'll put that right here. You see that that number, boom, boom, yeah, okay. So as I was doing this, selling these items, what I noticed is when it comes to selling specific items, I think with eBay what works best, and I was really hesitant on at first, but I think might be the direction to go. I focused mostly on like what I had in my inventory, which was like a lot of collectibles, trading cards, comic books, video games, collectible items. Those are all great and everything, but I feel like what could be better to sell is like things involving housewares, clothing, shoes, vintage items. Like I said, I was a little hesitant selling those just because there's more of a chance for like refunds and scams and sort of issues like that, but that's stuff that you have to learn regardless, I think. But if I ever want to scale and grow this page, grow this store, that's something I'm going to have to consider. I think what made it a little difficult was maybe marketing. Maybe my marketing strategy could have been a little bit better. Not saying that the items I was trying to sell can't sell, but I think what I noticed in a lot of pages is at certain times of the year and certain items, depending on the item, will sell faster or slower. eBay itself could just be going through a thing where maybe people are buying from other platforms. That could be why things were slow. Could be the way I was marketing stuff. I did use a lot with TikTok and Instagram. I tried to push through those pages. Maybe there's a better way I could have gone about it, but that's something I'll have to learn down the road. So with everything, I feel like I enjoy this. I think this was a great experience. 90 days, I feel I could have done better. Trust me, I've seen a lot of pages that do within the first week really well. But for somebody that's just starting, I have no idea how to sell. I had no idea. Like, I knew how eBay kind of worked, but I wasn't truly familiar with the way the platform ran. I didn't understand too much about the shipping. And not to say I don't know how to ship stuff. It's just there's certain things that eBay requires that I just didn't understand fully. And starting out, I think this was a great way to get my feet wet. I think this is a great way to get into something that I'm a little fascinated with, and believe it or not, I did enjoy it. One thing I want to say is, like for example, the first item I sold, because this is what I noticed sold the best, was the holographic trading cards. I did sell one game. I sold a PS3 video game, which was cool, but I feel like what sold the fastest was just holographic vintage Pokemon cards. The first one that I sold was that Team Rocket's Articuno card. It was a holographic one, sold it for $280. If you probably saw that in a previous video, but I put it back up here. That's this card right here. I don't know, this card right there. Yeah, that card. Yeah. So that sold fast. I think it was the first day I listed it. Later that day, got an immediate customer. And I did enjoy this because it was exciting. It really was exciting. I didn't know anything what I was doing. I didn't know, if this was even going to work. I think that's also why I was very hesitant and scaling quickly because, in case I put all this time and investment and it doesn't work out. But I guess that's the part of business. Like, you're not always going to succeed. You have to fail in order to succeed. You know, it's learn, and I don't think of it as failure. You know, after going through this, I realized it's just like, okay, I didn't fail anything. I just learned something else new, and now I know, okay, maybe if I approach it differently. I wound up going through like my inventory. I found some other items I could sell, like clothing and other stuff like that. But with the Articuno card, I was so excited to sell that. It was my first real sale, whatever. It was my first real sale. Yeah, it was my first real sale, and it was a big sell. Like it was a big sell for me. It was like I said, $280 sold, and which was exciting. I was expecting to maybe get like $5, $10, but to be able to nail that, honestly, I loved it. I enjoyed it. You know, and the funny thing is, people don't really talk about this. Like, it's always great to make money when you start businesses, but you have to realize, in order to be successful, and look, don't come at me, this is just my opinion, but in order to be successful, I think you need to like understand the boring parts, you know, like how to market it, how to like what to sell, how to understand who you're selling to. You know, there's a lot of variables involved, but nonetheless, I did enjoy this experience. I'm glad I could show you guys my little process. I want to continue further and expand into other platforms, because now I think I have an understanding a little bit. But I think the best way to really learn, I could read books, I could watch other videos, I could do whatever, but you have to kind of just do it, and that's what I want to do. And I want to continue with this series, you know, going from $0 to 100. So this was great, the $400 I made in 90 days. But in order to get to 100K, I had to kind of think about the calculations. And I have to, so if I divide 100,000 by 12, I think it was roughly $8,300 a month. So let's roughly say 8,000 to 9,000 every month consistently for this to count. Like, you know, like this was great. It was a great start. But unless I could do this consistently, let's just say it was a little loss. Like, I mean, I still made profit. It was a little lost because it wasn't as consistent, but now that I understand, have a better grip of it, I think I could push forward and kind of, you know, figure out how to consistently make it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. So let's say if I can make an extra few $100s a month, let's do $500 a month. If I can make an extra $500 a month consistently, build that up to 1,000, then go from that to 5,000 a month, and then get to where we need to, and so on. To where every year I can make the consistent amount, or at least, like, you know, if it's a little more, a little less, no big deal. But for this to be a successful win, I'm going to take another stab at this eBay thing. I'm going to push harder. I'm going to definitely put out more products and really try to understand like the market itself and how to sell things. I mean, again, there's a lot of things I need to know. If any of you guys want to post like tips and advice and stuff like that in the comments, that would be great. But yeah, I definitely want to take another stab at this. I enjoy this, and I, you know, based on how I broke it down, or how I'm gonna, you know, I think it should be an easier goal to achieve. So anyway, that was kind of what I wanted to do. I know it's a little bit of a breakdown of my final results, as you saw. Bunch of stuff that I still need to learn, hands down. Stuff that I, you know, like the items that I can't sell on eBay, maybe there's another platform I could use. I heard Whatnot probably sell that stuff. Definitely got to check that out. Whatnot, live auction stuff here. Gonna try that. So there's gonna be a video in the future of that. Yeah, I think that's it. In the meantime, guys, I really appreciate you guys joining me on this journey. I'm Andrew Reverb, and that's it. Over and out.